to the. Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Nate from the Bandwagon Sports Podcast, where we talk about the biggest winners and losers in sports throughout the week. On Saturday and on Monday, we talk about the biggest winners and losers in sports during the weekend, and then during football season, we're talking about the biggest winners and losers in the NFL on Wednesdays. But that's during football season and football season period. But let's get right into it. What a week it's been. What a week it's been. Normally I'm kind of all over the place when I do these. I do talk about two things: biggest winners and biggest losers. And I'm going to start with my biggest loser for this week, and that is the Washington Capitals. And the reason I'm giving the Washington Capitals the biggest losers of the week is because they did exactly what I thought that they would do in the playoffs. Is that they'll get the fans excited and they'll get them to a point where they look like they could probably make it to the Stanley Cup, but they just fall short. And last night, I thought they want to make it. But, of course, they lose in overtime to a quick goal that sends the Florida Panthers to their first playoff series win in 26 years. Absolutely incredible. That is just, it's sad because Ovi is getting a lot older. The team is getting older. And that window, if it hasn't closed, it is closing very rapidly. All right. Let's move right on. All right. Another biggest loser, the Memphis Grizzlies. That is so unfortunate what happened with the Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant coming out. But the funny thing is, the Grizzlies have made it crystal clear that they're coming for whoever's in the West in the NBA. And rightfully so, this is a rite of passage. John Morant was out for the last couple of games due to an injury. And I completely understand what they're saying. This is a great up-and-coming team, although they lost, but they could be winning sometime next year. I really see them in the NBA Finals within the next year or two. The next one, besides the Washington Capitals losing in playoffs, is the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers just completely imploded. If you love Joel Embiid, let him go. Trade him, do something, rebuild, but don't you sign James Harden to any contract max. Don't do that. Because James Harden is proving that he's not even really in the basketball. He's just there for the check. And if you sign that guy right now, he is a shell of himself. He's just there. James Harden doesn't care about basketball because if he did, he just left $9 million on the table. He could have got a max contract at $54 million a year. However, he played poorly. He stayed on the sidelines. He really didn't act like he wanted to be there. And as Mr. Go 30 on TikTok said, he pissed down his leg. He didn't even piss down his leg. He didn't even show up. And poor Joel Embiid wants to win. Now they're talking about firing Doc Rivers, which I really didn't think about. Doc Rivers has been there for 2 years. No, the thing is, you really need to put the right people around them. And if you really think about what happened with the Sixers this year, they had a lot going on, from James Harden to the other head case they just traded. And it's unfortunate, but Doc Rivers might be the scapegoat and lose his job. We hope not. Let's keep moving. Lastly, our biggest loser for the week is Phil Mickelson. There's an unauthorized biography coming out about him. What's in the book, we really don't know, but they're bombshells, from he lost $40 million in gambling to stiffing his caddies for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And one of the things that is very interesting because he's pulling out of some of the he's pulling out of golf tournaments, and that's because he wants to. He's they're saying that he's backing this new golf league that's coming up that is supposed to be over in Saudi Arabia. Now, the downside to this is he's already talked about the conditions in Saudi Arabia and their human rights. So we're going to look. We're going to see what's going on. Lefty is going to have to speak at some point, but let's keep moving. Let's get into our biggest winners. The biggest winner, again, the juggernaut, the NFL. The NFL has its own day. Besides church on Sundays, everybody's going to watch the NFL. And once again, they have proven that it doesn't matter what time of the month, they can make fans talk about them throughout the year. They came out with their schedule, and let me tell you, one of the funniest things I saw was right out the gate how the NFL really shaded the Seattle Seahawks, because the very first game that Denver plays is with Seattle. And that particular game is going to give them a real quick glimpse of how Russell Westbrook is doing. They didn't even give him time to even think about doing anything or reminisce on. The very first game is going to be the Denver Broncos, Russell Westbrook against the Seahawks. I'm going to pick it now. Take Denver in this one. Matter of fact, take Denver in +7. Secondly, let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Biggest winners, Boston Celtics. I don't know. The Milwaukee Bucks. People wrote off the Boston Celtics as if they were just going to roll over for the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, let me tell you, the Milwaukee Bucks are a great team. They're an excellent team. However, I look at it like this. The Celtics have shown you, don't sleep on these teams because you can wake up a sleeping giant, and that is exactly what they did. They forced a game 7. And now they're going back to Boston. Let me tell you, if the Milwaukee Bucks lose the series, it's not shocking. And then I can tell you right now, I'm going to pick the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors in the finals, if that's the case. Biggest winner, the Dallas Mavericks. Boy, did they just show everyone that this one thing, David always beat Goliath. I'm not going to get too deep into it because the way people talked about it was that Phoenix was actually supposed to sweep them. And now we have a game 7. And here's the funny thing. Phoenix has sleptwalked through that entire series. And the one thing you don't want to do with these young teams is let them think they even have a chance. So in order for Phoenix to win this series, they're going to have to jump out on them real quick, which is probably not going to happen. However, I'm rooting for the Dallas Mavericks. And to be honest with you, I'm calling an upset pick on this one. Lastly, let's close this thing out. This one absolutely is amazing to me. And that's the New York Yankees. If you look at the box scores with the New York Yankees, you would think that they're playing football and not baseball. They're hitting home runs and scoring home runs at an epic clip. And I heard something last night on Sports Talk Radio. They said they don't need a superstar at every position. They just need them at the right positions. And that is exactly what the New York Yankees are doing. It is still early in the season, and we all know people fizzle out near the end. People come strong at the end. You got to get hot at the right time. Nobody wins the World Series in April, May, or June, but they can win it in late July, August, and September. Let's keep a lookout on the New York Yankees. Right now, they're writing off the Boston Celtics, but I would never write them off. And watch out for those Baltimore Orioles. They're sneaky good. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching the Bandwagon Sports Podcast. My co-host is sick right now. This is episode 1. And what we're going to do, we're going to come back Monday evening and we're going to talk about the biggest winners and losers over this week in sports. So, again, we are on live. I'll put an announcement out. You can also hear us on Spotify under the Bandwagon Fan Sports Podcast. I really appreciate you guys. But I will see you guys Monday. And we're going to talk about the biggest winners and losers in sports over the weekend. Send me a message. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on Monday.